How did you get into fashion and sustainability?
Ever since I was 5, I've been obsessed with clothes. And there's so much greenwashing that goes on as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, every time I walk by this canal, I would see so much plastic in the river.
So how do you now bring that awareness of climate and sustainability into your creative journalistic projects?
People bring in their old clothes that they don't want anymore and they can swap them in the shop. Hyperconsumption is directly linked to loneliness.
What's one small change you would love to see everyone try next holiday season?
I think handmaking things is, it needs to make a comeback.
Before we jump in, if the conversations like this matters to you, we bring on people who are shaping conscious fashion, sustainability, and intentional living without the noise or performative talk. So if you would like more conversations like this, take a second to subscribe to the ZÁY SHEEN Webisodes. It helps the show reach the right people and it allows us to keep bringing conscious voices to the table. You can also share this webisode with someone who would appreciate. All right, let's get into it. Hey, and welcome back to ZÁY SHEEN Webisodes. We got our wonderful and beautiful guest, Rachelle Cox.
Hi.
Is it Rachelle or is it Rachel?
So it's Rachel, but it is spelled like Rochelle because like my mum's got this whole explanation that's very long, but yeah, it's pronounced like Rachel.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much, Rachel. It is a pleasure to have you on the webisode.
Yeah. Thank you. It's an honor for me as well.
Of course. So how's the day going so far?
Yeah, it's gone well. I have had like a slow morning and been quite productive from that. And I feel like, yeah, it's nice when I get to have like a slow morning and then, yeah, just like slowly get into my work because I feel like I get more done if I'm just like nice to
Yeah.
myself, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
What
What
time is
about
it
you?
there?
It is 3:10. What time
10:10.
is it in New York?
It is 10:10 morning time.
I always forget that like time differences were
Yeah, I
wild.
believe it's 5 hours difference, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Oh gosh, a whole different reality, really, isn't it?
Right. So my morning just started. You're the
Yeah,
first person I'm talking to.
perfect. Well, I'm glad.
But
Starting the day off
it's kind
you.
of strange for me. Whenever I wake up, I just don't feel like talking. I
I get,
just stay quiet for
yeah,
as long as I can till
yeah.
I don't have to talk to somebody. But it's very funny that almost all the recordings that I do now for the season 2 is all this morning.
Is that because of like time difference, because of the people that you're speaking to, like in different countries?
Yeah, that's true,
Yeah,
right? No,
yeah.
even with the people in US, I'm doing the same thing. I say, yeah,
Wow.
let's do the first thing in the morning so that we can have the rest of the day,
Yeah.
right?
Because if not, you're kind of like in waiting mode, just like waiting for this thing to
Yeah,
like waiting for an appointment or something. Yeah.
right.
But I get what you mean. Like I have flatmates who I love and adore, but sometimes I will
Mm,
wake up like an hour early just to have like an hour just where I don't speak like for the first hour. And like instead I'll
mm,
like journal, like have a cup of tea or something. Because it
yeah,
is something about just being like bit insular before you actually have to speak to anyone that just like I don't know, I feel like it gets you off like on the right foot to start the day, you know?
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, it is what it is. I love talking, so maybe this is the best way to start it, right?
Yeah.
The day.
Also then, like, you've had, like, a nice little, like, conversation, like, for
Yeah,
that you can keep thinking
and
about.
a lot warm, calm conversation and inspiring,
Yeah.
sometimes informative. So
Yeah.
it's a good affirmation in the morning that we get.
Yeah,
I
definitely, I
get.
think so, yeah, I think so. It's a good plan. Good plan going forward.
Right. So it's a holiday season here in the US. What about UK? Do you have anything?
Yeah, like, so it's Christmas here for a lot
Yeah.
of Christians or a lot of people who just grew up with the tradition of Christmas. And
Right.
it's wild because, like, what I've noticed about the holidays here is
Yeah.
that every year Christmas or like places selling Christmas stuff starts earlier and earlier. Like
Mm.
at Halloween, which was literally what, it's like 3 months away from when Christmas is,
Yeah.
they were selling Halloween stuff next to Christmas stuff. And I was just like,
Yeah.
it's just
It's
so
just
weird.
crazy. People start buying stuff so early.
Yeah.
Same
Also,
here.
for one day, which like it's like, do you know the Grinch? Like I recently rewatched the Grinch. I haven't watched it in a few years, and I was like, but he's right. I
The
was like,
old one or the new one?
the old one.
Oh yeah,
The
that's
old one. I was
classic.
watching it and I was like, oh, he's like the anti-capitalist king. I was like, I get it. Like, I get it. Like, I get why he's fuming. Do you know, like, I get why he's so angry. Like, because that's
Mhm.
like Christmas isn't about just like buying loads of stuff, but like this is literally what consumerism's made it into. And then it puts like a lot of pressure for you to
Right.
have like the most magical day, but like I don't know. Like me and my flatmates are spending Christmas together, which I'm so excited about. And like we've planned just like activities and like, you know, gorgeous food and stuff to have together and like things that we can actually enjoy together. Like it's not really about, you know, going to the supermarket and making sure you get all the right decorations and all the
Yeah,
right things. It's
right.
like I don't know, I think the UK goes a bit crazy with Christmas, to be honest.
Uh, to be
Mm.
honest, it's everywhere, even
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
We do overconsumption a lot.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like Halloween is like such a big thing in America, right? Because I see like every year, like, I don't know, just looks like America really loves Halloween.
I feel like that's the only day we can bring our creepiness out of ourselves and
Yeah.
show to the people.
Yeah.
So
I
we
see it.
just make sure we do the best,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, it's trying to. I think other countries are quite impressed with how Americans do
Oh
Halloween, to
yeah.
be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. But people don't so overdo it here. I thought, but when we see on social media, it looks like everyone has done
Yeah.
it, but it's not everywhere. It's just a
Yeah.
couple of houses, or maybe five houses out of one street who do that. Otherwise, they
Mm.
just let
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Well, the media and like in films and stuff have really oversold the idea that like Americans are obsessed with Halloween because that was my preconception.
I thought of that way too
Yeah.
before moving here.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. So, Rachel, our first question gonna be, which is
Okay.
also a classic question, which I start the webisode with, is
Mm.
for those watching from home who might not be familiar with you yet, please share about yourself, who you are, what you do, and why this conversation is the one they should be listening to.
Yeah, so I'm Rachel. I'm a video journalist, a presenter, and an artist. I use my platform to like speak a lot about politics, but in terms of how do we make politics accessible? How do we speak about the climate injustice while making it accessible?
Hmm.
And I think that people should listen to this episode because I don't know, it's just going to be something that's maybe a different perspective, something that you've heard before, and also I don't know, I love listening to podcasts of little, you know, conversations and stuff. So
Yeah,
maybe, yeah, maybe other people will be interested in what we have to discuss here today as well.
right. So you mentioned about politics. You know, what is my rule? I try not to be talking about politics and religion on the podcast because
Mhm.
I believe that's totally a different way, and everyone has their own um views on how they look politics and religion. So religion is still on the side, but after having conversation with over 50 people, 50 advocates, influencers,
Mm.
designers all across the world, I feel like Polit- politics or the policies by the government makes a huge difference. How
Mhm.
people gonna act, how
Yeah,
factories or businesses gonna act.
yeah,
So I don't know. Maybe I should be mentioning about it a little more now.
yeah.
Because I believe that's the thing we should make the awareness so people, or
Mm.
we can come up with some of the policies or the existing policies. We can discuss that.
Yeah, I feel like with politics as well, it's like everything's political, and I feel like I like a lot of people don't really understand what I mean when I say that. But it's like if you look at like even in the UK right now, like there's a cost of living crisis, but it's
Mm.
because like our government have been selling off like assets, you know, to private investors for years, and like we're kind of copying the US, you know. It's like that's kind of like a model that the US have had for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like when I say like I speak about politics, you know, it's more like raising awareness of like the injustice that
Yeah.
people who are meant to be looking after us are actually doing against us, because we, you know, follow their rules, we listen to them for advice. Like they're the people who are meant to be looking after us, but a lot of the time they're saying one thing, or you know, they're promoting something that's meant to be good for us when actually it's acting directly against us, but it's in their gain. So yeah, I think that's why I like to speak about it, because I understand that politics is like a really like overwhelming thing, and like there's a lot of inaccessible language that people don't really know. I don't even understand half the stuff that comes out. I'm like, I don't get it. But that's the whole point. Like politics, it was never really meant to be accessible, because like if you understood all of these big words and stuff, like you'd understand the level of
Mm-hmm.
injustice. Um,
It's not a
yeah.
perfect thing.
Yeah, it's not. And, you know, and like, I think speaking about politics, like about anything, like you're bound to get things wrong, you know, because you all like, everyone steps into like these conversations with like a baseline of like not really knowing anything. And until you actively start learning stuff, that's when you know, you'll start gaining like some knowledge. But it's like any
Mm-hmm.
skill, you're going to mess up along the way. But you just need to like keep at it, because like you can only learn from those mistakes, and from those mistakes, you
Right.
get better about speaking about things, or about taking action on certain things, or you know, yeah, just listening about these things without like getting really overwhelmed. Like all of these things are just skills to develop.
Yeah, totally. And since you bring that up, how do you personally approach talking about politics through your creative work without
Mm.
losing that sense of accessibility of connection with your
Mm.
audience?
Humor is such a huge way that politics can be made accessible. So for example, I for
And that's the
Halloween,
most risky way too.
yeah, yes and no, because I feel like, for example, a 15-year-old isn't going
Uh-huh.
to know what neoliberalism is, but a 15-year-old knows who Donald Trump is because of meme culture, because of, you know, because of this culture on the internet where everyone takes the piss out of him. Or like, sorry, everyone, like mocks him. Sorry, I forgot, I'm not swearing. Um,
I don't know if
but
I
you
should
know what I
cut that or not.
mean. It's fine, you can.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and like the same with like the in the UK here, like people know who like Nigel Farage is, who is kind of like the Trump equivalent of the UK, because
Is that guy who has a hair like Trump? The former.
not really, no, he doesn't
Okay.
have hair like Trump, but he's same policies, I would say, same morals, I would say.
Okay.
And yeah, like his whole like the reason that so he's like the head of Reform,
Hmm.
which is like a right wing political group in the UK. The reason
Right.
that they've gained so much traction is because they've got a really smart social media team who is using humor, using social media, and using meme culture to generate interest from young people, specifically young boys and young men. Um, so humor, like it is a word that it grabs people, because if you can laugh over something, you've made a connection. If
Mm.
you can share memes and stuff, you feel like you're connecting with people. So for
Yeah.
me within my work, like I'm currently like exploring like what does it mean to have accessible, funny, engaging, but also like informative politics.
Yeah.
So for Halloween, do you know who Margaret Thatcher is?
I don't know any of the politician except Trump that you named.
So in the UK in the 80s, we had like a first ever female prime minister called Margaret Thatcher.
Okay.
And Margaret Thatcher did a lot of questionable things, especially for like the working class people of where I'm from.
Mm.
She essentially like took so many job opportunities away from people by closing all of these mines, but just didn't tell anyone, didn't give any people warning. She
Mm.
also privatized the national rail. So like trains and stuff used to be like a lot cheaper, but then she sold off parts of it for profits.
To
So there,
private equities.
yeah.
Okay.
So then it meant like trains in the UK like skyrocketed and like keep skyrocketing. Like it is so expensive for public transport in the
Right.
UK. And there was a lot of policies. Like they're just two examples, but like there's so many examples of things that she did that really were not good for the working people of the UK. Also, she was like very homophobic as well,
Mm.
and like introduced this section called Section 28. No, yeah, Section 28, where it was um essentially like illegal to talk about queerness, being gay, having like two parents and stuff within schools, within hospitals, within public sectors. So this woman, like ever since I was, because she was in power like 20 years before I was even born. Like I remember like growing up and like I never really was interested in politics until like university maybe. And I remember learning about who she was and like the effect that she had on my specific hometown. And then because I'm a lesbian and like hearing what she did like to my community, like all this stuff, I was just like, oh my God, like this woman was a crook. Like this woman is like, yeah, just I don't know, like you have this idea of like a female in power would be like revolutionary, and it was in a way, but she also did so much that kind of didn't make up for the fact that she was this like woman in power. Like it didn't mean that she was helping people.
Mm.
So yeah, so for Halloween this year, I dressed up as her and went out into the general public and I asked people about tax and billing. Um, and I found that because I was dressed up like as this character, one, for me, it gave me a bit of a shield between me and the people that I was speaking to. Because sometimes in those situations when you're talking about politics, especially when
Mhm.
like me and my camera person, like we're both just, like women in our 20s, like if someone was to like, I don't like have a serious offense and like, attack us or anything like that, we're kind of vulnerable in those situations. Especially like if the subject matter that we're talking about is politics, like it can get heated very quickly. So for me, like I was a bit like nervous going into it, but I found that the fact that I was wearing this costume, it had a a barrier against me and like these people because I was, interviewing the general public. So I had no idea the people I was interviewing. I didn't know their political beliefs. So
Mm.
I was asking the same questions to every person. And there were at points where I was speaking to people who were racist or people who were like very right wing, and we're blaming the whole of the like cost of living crisis and the fact that there's no affordable homes and stuff here on immigrants. And because I was in character and because I strongly believe that that is not the case. Like it's not immigrant. In fact, immigration does so much for our country. It is the backbone of our country, really. So the fact that I was speaking to these people who had such different beliefs compared to me, and we were literally at opposite ends of the spectrum, but because I was in costume, they were willing to speak to me, and I had that like protection that I felt like I could actually speak my mind and kind of educate them a little bit while still being in
Uh,
character. It was difficult. It was a lot. I learned a lot from that experience. But I truly believe it was the fact of like there was an element of humor. I was playing this character because when I don't know if you know this, but when Margaret Thatcher died, the number one song in the UK on the radio was "Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead." This is how much people hated Margaret Thatcher. So the fact that I was dressed up as this controversial figure and stuff, like it piqued people's interest. It piqued people's intrigue, and they were just kind of like, "Oh, like who, like what is this?"
uh-huh.
And that led to more interesting conversations because their guard was down, and so was mine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did any of those conversations surprise you or shift how you think about engaging with people who see the world so differently?
Yeah. It was honestly my outcome of that was humor and approaching it not with anger. Like, even
Mm.
if that other person is saying things that I fundamentally do not believe with. And again, like this, I think I can have this viewpoint because I'm white. I have a lot of white privilege, I'm not going to be in as much danger as any person of the global majority. So I feel like in those conversations, like when there were moments where I was just like, I like need to be careful about how I approach this. I could
Hmm.
go into it with gentleness, not gentleness like in my words, but like gentleness like with my demeanor, you know? And I kept
Hmm.
having to like take deep breaths anytime like they were saying these things that I didn't believe in. Just taking a deep, big breath, regulate myself like in that moment, and then coming back to them after like I've had like a little think about what it is that I'm trying to say. Um, because I think in those moments, like, you know, so many thoughts like come rushing to your head, and I'm like, okay, but what's actually relevant, and what did this person need to hear?
Right.
Because I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that like information doesn't help change people's minds, but emotion does. It's like you
Wow.
can, yeah, I think that's like a fact in psychology or something. Like after a couple of weeks after I did the interview, I can't remember the source. If I remember the source, I'll send you it so we can cite it. But I remembered someone posting about how information isn't the thing that changes people's minds; it is emotion.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, it reminded me of like that's exactly what like the same what do you call it, the same thing that I came from my interviews, or like any time I speak to people like in pubs or family members or people where again like we have conflicting information or conflicting opinions. um like I think like 10 years ago I would have
Hmm.
just resorted to anger, crying out of frustration, you know, getting so angry at these people because I just don't understand how they could come up with just such, you know, different like beliefs to me.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm just like, oh, I understand how propaganda works. I understand how, you know, a lot of these false beliefs
Hmm.
about immigration, about queerness, about trans people, about working class people. Um, yeah, like all of these things, like I now understand kind of like how these things happen because it is so much of it is politicians or like, you know, like these big media moguls who, you know, are buying up loads of media and kind of get free speech on like whatever it is that they want to say. It's like now that I understand that, I approach conversations differently because like if they understand like the emotions behind like actually why this is not right instead of, you know, facts and statistics and all these things, they're not going to listen to facts and statistics. They're not bothered. Whereas like
Right.
if you approach it like in, I don't know, like a relatively like accessible way that's like not screaming, not shouting, which again is really hard if
Hmm.
you aren't like a white cis person who, you know, like has the privilege of being able to not be as scared and have your life threatened, essentially. Like it's very easy for me to say that because I have like a huge great level of protection and privilege. But yeah, for me the way that I interact with people speaking about politics has changed massively.
So when you channel that kind of a history through humor,
Mhm.
what reaction are you hoping your audience walk away with?
It depends who my
Or
audience.
sometimes does it get tense?
No, so far, because I think it's about humor in the right way. I think it's about
Oh.
humor in the right way. And this is like a formula that I'm still figuring out. You know, it's something that I'm
Mm.
experimenting with because I don't have the answers. And I feel like with any social justice movement, no one is going to have all the answers, you know, like it is a constant, yeah, it's like a constant exploration and like experimentation with like different ways of approaching things and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't. And what I've noticed is that memes work really well. You know, I have a friend called Izzy who runs this podcast and this page called Sexy Climate Change. And you know, people are outraged because they're like, how can climate change be sexy? And she's like, that's not the point. Like you know, like she's making it kind of like hun culture. Do you know what like hun culture is? Okay, so hun culture is like in the UK, it's like being, I don't know how to describe this. It's like, wait, let me Google hun culture and see if
What's the spelling? How you spell it?
HUN. Okay. Uh
Hun culture, modern British shows.
okay, so Okay, so Hun culture is a
Mhm.
British subculture that's popular with women and gay people. It often revolves around the stanning of usual British female celebrities who are often pop singers, reality TV stars, and soap opera actresses.
Hmm.
It often relies on camp and niche humor. So there's this, so a lot of it like relies on like pop culture. So it's a lot of like, there's like a lot of meme pages, like a lot of TikTok accounts and stuff that kind of run these pages that it's like nostalgic content, like early 2000s content. And it's kind of like this tone of speaking that is accessible and it's like for the girls. So what what my friend does like with this like sexy climate change is that she takes this like this kind of way of communicating, this like humorous, like pop culture, like meme sort of, you know, visual language and
Yeah.
translate that into making content about the climate change.
Hmm.
And it makes it so accessible
Yeah.
because people are laughing
Hmm.
at it,
Right.
people are sharing it, and people are talking about it. And I think relating it back to things that we already understand or like we're aware of, like in pop culture or throughout history, things
Yeah.
like this, like it's such an accessible way that people do start to speak about it. So
Hmm.
yeah, I feel like I don't know what it is that I want people to like walk away with like a feeling of.
Yeah.
Um, but I think like relatability really helps and like just feeling understood and like feeling heard like in your frustrations as well is like a really big part of it, I think.
Rachel, you said it at very best. The saying you just said some time ago in during the podcast
Mm.
Webisode. Um, but yeah, even after having the conversation with dozens of guests and many people who respond or comments to on the videos of the webisodes, it's like the same exact thing we're repeating again and again and again. It's just
Yeah.
a different way how we can present it to the people. But I believe to adding more humor to it might be helping people to understand it more,
Yeah.
especially the Gen Z.
Yeah.
And as you said, we already know most of the things. We just need to be aware of that or just remind it or feed us in a way so we don't forget.
Yeah. Yeah, because also it's like engaging. I think such a big thing about like, you know, the climate change and climate injustice is that people
Hmm.
understand that we're in a time of chaos. Like we're in a time of climate chaos and people understand that, but it's so overwhelming that people like, especially when like all you see in like any time you read the news on newspapers and stuff, it's
Hmm.
all of these things that's going on, all of these stats, all of these statistics,
Yeah.
but no way to like overcome them or like no, you know, no calls to action, no, or like, but actually like instead of, you taking all the blame, like these are the top five oil companies who actually made this happen.
Yeah.
Instead, what these like news outlets do is like they
Hmm.
overwhelm people to the point of inaction. So if you're so full of like all of this information and there's no accessible ways into like humor or speaking about it or calls to action so that because like, what's that quote? It's like, action is the antidote to despair. So
Right.
if you're receiving all of this information and there's no call to action, you feel so like, oh, like that's really overwhelming. So I'm just going to avoid that. And I feel like
Hmm.
I think this is a huge problem actually for our generation because we're constantly seeing infographics. We're seeing, a genocide being live streamed. Like we're seeing people lose their homes in flooding countries and from, the houses being set on fire. It's like we're witnessing all of this firsthand. That is so overwhelming. Then on top of, like a cost of living crisis and not having any access to like healthcare or support.
Hmm.
Like, and then on top of this, like AI, deriving misinformation. We now don't know what is real and what's not. Like
Totally.
yeah, there's so much polarization as well. Like my For You page looks so different to my best friend's, and we have the exact same interests. So I think we're at a time where we need ways to like unify everyone and we need ways to like have accessible information so that people understand what the problem is, but also how do we actively combat this, like the problem, what's the solution to the problem?
Right.
And yeah, I think social media like can be used as such a good tool for this, because we've seen people win campaigns from
Yeah.
social media. Look at Zoran,
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, his
Pure
social media.
example.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
all the social media game.
Yeah, yeah. And again, his social media, like his campaign, like it wasn't facts and figures and information. It was empathy. It was him going and connecting with people, but like really connecting with people, not fake connecting with people. And it was
Right.
this like this unity, and I feel like he's quite a funny person as well. Like he's got a really good sense of humor about him, and he's charming. People like him. It's like these conversations and these entry points of talking about it, I think it has to include humor somehow. I don't know the exact formula. I don't know, I don't have all the answers. I don't think anyone has all the answers. But I think this is why it's important to have conversations about it, to figure out, okay, what can we do? Because so many of us, like, and there's been so many times, like, for myself where, like, I have just overwhelmed myself with the amount of information that I'm taking on, to the point where I get stuck and I can't do anything about it because I'm so full of shame, but also I'm so full of dread, And I think, like, being full of shame and dread needs its moment. You need to process all of that, because it's a lot. Like when you're constantly, exposed to like so much social injustice, like it's a lot to take on.
Yeah.
But then after you process it, there needs to be ways to be like, okay, how do I, yeah, like get my way back into finding a solution, to like help overcome this, like for the people involved who are facing these injustices, but also like to kind of like build up the confidence in myself and trust in myself to be like, okay, let's tackle this. And like, I think a really lovely thing about, these movements and about social media is that a lot of the time you're not doing these things by yourself. Like there are people that you can speak to about it. There's so many groups, there's so many organizations, there's so many grassroots organizations that are out there that yeah, like are available to you. But I think yeah, I think so much of this is about like combating shame and like combating that overwhelm that we get from social media.
100%. Um, I'm still processing too with all the things that you have mentioned before. I mean, it's such a great awareness, and people should know and act on it. And at the end of the day, it's all about doing the right thing
Mm,
and making things accessible to the people, especially with the policies. And first people, then of course the planet, because that's our home.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Rachel. Uh, so our next segment is rapid fire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you ready for that?
I am, yes.
Okay. Most of the guests does not ready for that. Okay. One word your current creative energy would say about you.
Can you repeat that again?
One word your current creative energy would say about you.
Audacious.
Audacious. Nice. Favorite medium to express yourself? Video, photography, writing, or performance?
Video.
Video. A belief you hold that most people misunderstand. I feel like this is a right question.
Yeah. Empathy has more um empathy has more power than information.
Hmm. The kind of project that makes you feel most alive.
When I'm collaborating with people I love and people I trust on something that's really important, that collectively we understand that it's important, both to ourselves, but also like to a wider cause or issue.
Hmm. Favorite music or art genre that fuels your creativity.
Mm. Oh, it depends. Honestly, like bossa nova jazz. I feel like it just puts me in the mood for anything. It keeps me
Uh-huh.
calm. I'm like ready for like, yeah. It calms me down enough, and that like it's
Yeah,
got a bit, you can work to it.
that's cool.
Yeah.
One thing you hope people learn from seeing, um, okay, another question. What's your go-to ritual when creative burns out hits?
Brands. What did you say?
Burnout.
Burnout. Oh,
Yeah.
rest. Rest. Look after yourself. Like you're not a machine, you're a human, you know?
100%. That is correct. Next
Yeah.
question. What kind of hobbies really get you excited?
Any craft, any DIY project, upcycling clothes, making clay creations, anything, just
Mhm.
anything creative, honestly.
Mm. What's your favorite time period in history and why?
Oh, that's such a good question. Right now, because I'm alive, and even though it's scary and overwhelming sometimes, I'm just really grateful to be here. I'm just very grateful to be here.
Yeah, I think about it sometimes and I say yes, I'm good with
Yeah.
whatever I have right now.
Ugh.
Much better. Even like 50 years ago,
Yeah.
we're better.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the nicest place you have ever visited?
Hmm. Oh, it's so hard. Nicest place I've ever visited. Hmm. Don't know why I'm finding this so hard.
Are there too many?
I've got a really bad memory. No, not even. I've just got a really
Oh
bad.
man, that's so me.
Yeah. Hmm. Maybe the nicest place I've ever visited.
Hmm.
There has to be somewhere. Where have I been? I've literally forgot any place I've ever been, and
Wow.
so bad. Maybe going on holiday with my friends to Spain. That was really lovely, and like the air was like the perfect temperature.
Nice.
It was just gorgeous to like spend time together, go swimming, be in the sea. Yeah, maybe Spain.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome. I'm glad you answered.
thank you. Remember
Coffee or tea?
coffee.
Coffee. Oh, you're the first UK person who said coffee.
I know, controversial, but I have ADHD, so if I don't have my meds, I need the energy. I'm like, yeah. But also I love the taste of coffee. It's like hearty, it's like warm. No,
Hmm. Last but not least, what moment would you redo if you given the chance?
nothing, because I regret nothing. And I'll always learn something from any mistake I ever make.
Beautiful. Empowering.
Thank you.
Finish this
Yeah.
sentence. Representation matters because.
Ooh. Representation matters because you don't know something exists until you see it.
Nice. Last question. Describe yourself or your identity in one color.
Orange.
Orange. Oh, wow.
Mm. Wait, what's
That's
your answer to that?
interesting.
What color are you?
For me,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I
see
would
you as
say
green.
what you said.
I see you as green.
For me, yeah. If you look at me, what I'm doing, you can say green. But I
Hmm.
don't know. Maybe most of the time I just like black.
Mm.
So
But
maybe
it's more
black.
about like the overall, like the essence of that color, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Like, are
Okay,
there any?
that's yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I was gonna say, like, are there any colors like draw you in? Because I feel like
Hmm.
I feel like any colors that you're kind of drawn in by,
Yeah.
it must be like a mirror, you know? Like my
Yeah, but
orange is my
actually,
color.
yeah, but actually, you're right. I have black, I have green,
Hmm.
and some red, so colors like
Mhm.
that. But yeah, thank you very much. That's all for this segment of ours. We did
Yay.
great.
Perfect. Thank you. Should I turn off the camera?
It's not over yet.
Okay. Thank.
Just the
Okay, cool.
segment is over.
I was gonna say that was quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
Sorry about
I
that.
mean, you're such an interesting person. I'm not gonna let you go that quick.
Perfect. Good. I could chat for England, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, do you need any break or water or something? You
I'm good.
can
Got some
take your
right here.
time.
Thank you
Okay,
though.
awesome. I mean, I do have a cup too, but I always forget to fill up the water. I'm always late for the
It's a
recording.
performative cup.
Right. So now we're gonna talk about what the foundation of this episode is. I mean, Rachel, you have so much information about the journalism, interviewing people, and actually, I'm gonna ask you about interviewing people a little
Mm.
more later. But politics and policies, that's too much to know about, and sometimes I feel like that's overwhelming, especially for me if I get to know about those things. But
Yeah.
how did you get into fashion and sustainability?
Oh my God. Ever since I was 5, I've been obsessed with clothes. Like, I think I watched the Cheetah Girls and I was like,
Hmm.
that's what I want to be. Like, I want to be a fashionista. I want to be a diva. And like when it comes to sustainable fashion, I think a lot of the practices that I've always done have always been inherently sustainable. So, like for
Hmm.
example, like for any like Halloween costume, like me and my mum would just make the costume or we'd like use like scrap fabric and stuff like around the house, like make like just fun little accessories, things like that. And then I have been secondhand shopping, like we call it like charity shopping or like thrift shopping. I've been going to those kind of like secondhand stores since I was like 6 or something with my grandma, and it's like my favorite way to shop because in the UK like the clothes sizing system is really odd because like
Hmm.
the UK size is like the UK general size is like a UK 16. And the clothing a lot of the time in the stores only goes up to like a 14 maximum. So since I was because I've also been bigger since I was like a child. Like I've always been like big for my age. Um like I've always just like been a bigger person. So like when I was in school, like we had to
Yeah.
wear school uniform, but
Hmm.
actually the school uniform that like they provided for me didn't fit me. So I would either get my, clothes from like the adult section or we'd go to charity shops and we'd get
Hmm.
a lot of my school uniform from charity shops. Um so yeah, I think yeah, and like ever since like Tumblr, like the discovery of Tumblr was like such like a pinnacle moment for me because there were so many DIYs and there were so many like follow alongs of like, tutorials of like how to like cut up your shirts in like certain ways or like, like make tights like cooler in like certain ways and stuff. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think the internet, like being chronically online since I was like 13ish, like also led into that because I was never really interested in buying new clothes. Like I always wanted to either like go to charity shops and like buy something that had character or like buy something that I wouldn't feel bad if I was like cutting it up and like it looked terrible in the end.
Hmm.
Um so yeah, I think a lot of those practices like are just inherently sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a topic I have some expertise in, so maybe
Mhm.
we can share more exchanges with this one.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But it sounds like sustainability was just naturally part of your life. And also I feel like most of the times or with most of the people, especially with the cultural or the culture they have, it's a part of their lifestyle habit because we do some things or reuse some things, and now in the kind of fancy word we give them as a sustainability,
Yes, yeah. And there's
right?
so much greenwashing that goes on as well,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. Yeah.
When did you start realizing that those early habits could actually become part of your professional work in fashion and media?
I'm still just learning it now. Because I think I've been aware of the climate crisis for like since I was a child, you know, but it was
Hmm.
only since I moved to London really that I started to be like, oh, like this is something that it's actually going to take like a lot of intentional effort and community effort to change. And I have stopped and started with like my like climate justice journey for years, and it's only been, I'd say, at the start of last year that I was like, actually, this is something that I really care about. And it actually started from, I used to live like next to a canal,
Hmm.
and every time I walked by this canal, I would see so much plastic in the river, and I'd see little baby ducks and stuff like swim by it, eat it, get stuck in it. Like even now I'm like talking, I'm like, it was so upsetting to see. Um, and I remember like emailing my local council and stuff, being like, "Hi, like, is there anything we can do?" And they were essentially just like, essentially just telling me to like sort it out myself. And I was like, "Okay, so like, if this is the state of my local council, like, I live in London, like one of the, you know, like one of the biggest like metropolitan cities like in the world. Like you would think from as an outsider looking at London, like London has all these resources and like really wants to help, you know, like the environment, all this stuff." And
Hmm.
just to hear that like my local government like didn't care, I was like, okay, so like I kind of have to take this into my own hands. So as soon as I started to reach out to people and be like, hi, like how would I actually do this, you know? I started speaking to more people who are involved like in the climate justice space, and the conversations that we were having were just blowing my mind because they were so interconnected to a lot of other social justice issues
Hmm.
that I was already like talking about and like exploring. And then it was kind of that like light bulb moment of like, oh, everything is interconnected. So like if I want to, you know, help fix like all these other issues, climate justice also does have to be included in this. Um, so yeah, I think yeah, like very recently actually I've only been kind of taking this stuff a lot more seriously, especially professionally, because like I do want to, you know, get just like more opportunities to like be active in corporate and like climate justice, like with the work that I'm doing.
Wow, that's beautiful. I mean, that shows that one choice can make a difference. And
Yeah,
if you get obsessed with that, then definitely you can change. Even the policies, you know, like you can stand against that and
yeah,
make it right. I want to share why ZÁY exists. Most of us are used to buying clothes that look good for a moment, but don't last in quality, meaning, or impact. ZÁY was built the opposite way. Every piece we create is designed to be timeless, not a trend driven, ethically produced, thoughtfully sourced, and made to be worn for years, not weeks. We believe sustainability doesn't need to be loud or performative. It should feel natural, intentional, and human. Just like the conversation you're watching right now. If you care about what you wear, who made it, and the impact it leaves behind, ZÁY SHEEN was created for you. You can explore the collection and learn more at www.zasheen.com or tap the first link in the description. Now, let's get back to the conversation.
yeah, exactly.
So, how do you now bring that awareness of climate and sustainability into your creative or journalistic projects?
Yeah. So I've been doing quite a few workshops recently where we will use, so specifically I work with this really incredible initiative called, I'm going to swear, just a pre-warning, but it's called Fuck Fast Fashion. And it's this really incredible initiative that is a shop that is based in Dalston,
Hmm.
which is a area of London, and it's essentially like a swap shop. So like people bring in their old clothes that they don't want anymore, and they can swap them in the shop like with this membership.
Hmm.
And the people who run it are just like really, really incredible. Like they are so radical in their care for the climate and like care for Because I think they do a lot of work with people without homes as well, and like people on the streets. So they do a lot of incredible work. So once I became aware of them, like I started working with them like a lot more to like promote their shop, but also in their downstairs space, like they have like a big like space for workshops. So over Christmas, we've been doing this like 12 days of Thriftmas. So it's workshops that include using like secondhand materials to make something new. So I hosted one of these workshops.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing more workshops together. And I think like also like within my content, like, you know, just like spreading awareness of this idea that like you don't need to be, you know, buying all of these clothes from fast fashion and like yeah, just like places like Shein or Boohoo and stuff like this to enjoy clothing or to look good. You know, you don't need to spend a lot of money to feel good in what you wear because you can
Mm.
buy all these incredible clothing from secondhand places or
Right.
even like I don't know, having clothes swap with your friends, going to your friends, raiding their wardrobe, going to your like siblings, like see what they have in there, you know? Like
Right.
yeah, like I think yeah, like using my social media to like encourage people to like see this as like a lifestyle, like climate justice and like sustainability. It's a lifestyle. It's not just like something that you can like, or like in my opinion, like it's not just something that you should just like pick up and like drop like whenever. It's like actually you can make it accessible to be a part of your like everyday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. What kind of thing uh did people create in your workshop, and
Oh,
how they respond to working with reused materials?
yeah, so we created because it's the holiday season, and my
Uh-huh.
favorite thing to make people are like sentimental picture frames that
Uh-huh.
people like can get. So I encourage people to bring like little photos, like love letters, like trinkets, like anything that they would want to put into a frame and give to people. And
Yeah.
then I sourced loads of like secondhand frames and stuff, and then like different materials. Like I got everything from car boot sales, from charity shops. Some stuff was donated and a lot of like scrap fabric from the store as well. And it was like just such a wholesome day. Like the feedback that I got from everyone was like, there needs to be more of this because it was like a really beautiful day where everyone was making like something sentimental to give to someone. Because like,
Yeah.
again, that is what like the holiday season it's about. It's like not
Mm.
about spending all of this money buying like stuff that you don't even really need and that, you know, you could probably gonna throw away in like 3 weeks or like 3 months time. Like having like a memory to like
Yeah.
give to someone and something that's handmade, something that's been so intentionally made with love, you can't beat that. So yeah, the overall feedback was really, really beautiful.
Um, our webisode probably gonna be releasing after this holiday season passed, but what would you still suggest or want you to tell the people that, what they can possibly do during this holiday season to reduce the waste or the consumption?
Mm. Something this is inspired by my sister.
Uh-huh.
My sister get doesn't buy people gifts. She gets people experiences. So she will get people tickets to something, or she will book an experience or a tour or a, you know, like an event, something for
Wow.
people. Because then, especially if you get a ticket, like she usually gets a ticket for them and someone
Uh-huh.
else or a ticket for her and that person, so then they can actually have a memory together. And I just think that is the most beautiful idea. And the thing is, my sister's not even like a sustainable girly. Like, you know,
Uh-huh.
like she doesn't really like, she's not as engaged like with kind of like politics and like sustainability stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
that's just her like way of being like, no, like we don't need more stuff. Like we want to spend time with the people that we have in our lives because this is the purpose of life. So for her, yeah, like that's what her way of doing it, and I'm so inspired by it. So yeah, I'd say like gift a memory or like gift an experience to people. Or if you are going to buy something, be so intentional about it. Like, is this person going to be obsessed, or does this
Mm.
person really need this thing? You know, it's like if
That is
it's like
brilliant.
really, yeah, if it's really needed, you know, it's going to be appreciated. So
Because
anything,
sometimes we get the gifts for the people and they never use it. They just
yeah,
maybe pass it away, or they just put it in their um, you know,
Yeah.
downstairs basement.
Yeah, like underneath their bed, like never to be seen again, you know? But then it's like, I think I've seen so many like hoarder, like I went through a period of like being really obsessed with like hoarder TV shows.
Mhm.
Um, and I think it's such an interesting thing because looking at all these people, because like I found out that like hyperconsumption is directly linked to loneliness, and
Mhm.
actually like a lot of these times like these hoarders and stuff, like it is a psychological condition,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of the time it's like they're clinging onto these things that for them hold sentimental value a lot of the time because they're lonely or they're depressed or they're suffering from some sort of like mental health um
Right.
issue. And to directly combat this, like you wouldn't buy a hoarder something else that they're just gonna, like put in their house and like it gets lost. Like actually, like the best thing to do is to create an experience with this person outside the home, and like connect with that person. So this is why like experiences or like even taking that person to like a craft day or something,
Right.
so like they're getting used to like using their hands and stuff. It's like it'll take them out of like being insular in their home, surrounded by all of this stuff that they don't need and they don't use. And it'll be taking them into the real world with real people, getting them a sense of community and getting them involved in life again and like making memories, like all this stuff.
That is so beautiful. I love that. I'll definitely gonna mention it later on with more people that,
Yeah.
there this is I think this is the best way to do it. We almost have enough of what we need. We just
Mhm.
need more human interaction and experiences. That's the most important thing,
So I
right?
just chucked all my water down me there. So distracting. Yeah, well, like human connection's the reason we exist,
Yeah.
like neurobiologically we're wired for connection. So any time that we're lonely or we're depressed or we isolate ourselves away from people for a really long amount of time has really serious consequences for our mental health. And then that's when people tend to get addicted to like online shopping or get addicted to
Yeah.
going to the shop and like getting a little treat, but every single time it's like because there's something that you feel like you're lacking in a lot of the time without even realizing it's human connection.
Yeah. Okay, so what's one small change you would love to see everyone try next holiday season?
Mm, hand making something. Like sit down, whether that's a letter, a
Uh-huh.
card, a drawing, a picture frame, a craft, some clay, a crush. Like there is an abundant array of mediums that people can use. And literally, it could be as simple as a pen and piece of paper, but just making someone something
Right.
actually connects you to that person so much more than like a gift, really, in my opinion. I think
Yeah.
handmaking things is like, yeah, it needs to make a comeback. Also, it's just so much more like romantic and beautiful to like receive something that is like been made with such intention. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say handcrafting something 100%.
I feel like if you give something handcrafted to someone, they're gonna value it more than,
Yeah,
by just a
yeah.
random things.
Yeah, yeah. And even if it's like a bit naff, like even if it's not like, that good or something, they'll appreciate it anyway because you've done like you've put all that love and attention into it. And, maybe they will like in a couple of weeks' time just put it in their memory box,
Yeah.
or something. But then it's them there for them to look at, like in the
Yeah.
future, to like look back and be like, oh, like I remember when this person like took the time out of their life to make me this thing. Like, I don't know, I think it's just so special.
Right. So, usually I don't get many gifts, but whatever gifts I get, I just, keep it in my closet or I
Yeah.
have a box where I can fit all those things. And sometimes, I pull that out and see. For me, what the most important thing or the thing that matters the most is not the physical thing. It's just a thought that they thought of me,
Yeah.
right? They
Yeah.
thought of me while doing something, and I think that's the best thing.
Yeah. It's like knowing that they've put a lot of intention behind it. Like
Yeah, the
that's love,
intentions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Mm.
Rachel, what about interviewing people? How did you started that? And when do you started that?
Professionally, I started it in 2022, I would like to say 2021 or 2022.
Ah,
Um, but I am quite a curious person anyway. Like I grew up in a pub, so I think that makes a lot of sense for like my personality because I
mm.
could talk to a brick wall. Like I have, you know. Um, and yeah, like I've always been very curious about people, like in general, just like asking like a million and one questions.
Yeah.
Um, just because like I want to know. I just want to know. I'm just nosy. I think so much of it is that I'm just nosy and I just want to know.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, yeah, I feel like I've been interviewing people for my whole life, but professionally, yeah, I've been doing it for like I think 3 years now.
Nice.
And I got into it because in the UK we have this. Are you aware of like what universal credit is?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was on Universal Credit, also known as like Job Seekers, which is like this program, which is actually like the one thing that I'm like the government, like the
Uh-huh.
UK government, like I'm happy that we have this in place because it's really, really helpful for working class people, people who, are disabled or not doing very well and like just need some like financial support. So
Hmm.
I like straight after I graduated, I was working in a supermarket and I hated my life. I was so because at this point I didn't know I was autistic, so like I kept crying at work, and I was like, I
Hmm.
don't know why I'm crying, but I was crying because of all the noises. Because like I kept getting put on like the self checkout and like assisting people with like the self checkout, and like um yeah, like they kept putting me on it like rush hour, and I was like, please don't do that because I get overwhelmed. Every rush hour, without a fail, they'd put me on, and like it would be like the sounds of like the beeping and like the people like like shouting at me to like come serve them, and like the chatter of everything, like all of it like came so overwhelming that I kept like crying.
Yeah.
So after that, I was like, I'm never like having a job like that again, just because like my brain, like to do that day after day after day, like I was so unwell, like physically unwell, because my body just like took on like all this stress. That like don't get me wrong, like I've had a lot of like customer service jobs before, but I think there was
Yeah.
something specific about being a supermarket worker during COVID-19 because it was like during the pandemic that I was in this
Yeah.
job.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, after that I was just like I want to make a pledge to myself to like only ever try to go for creative jobs or like jobs that really, excite me. Like I just want to feel fulfilled. And I know again, like that's a very privileged like position like to come from, but
Right.
when I went on Universal Credit, I said to them like I only want to be in creative jobs. Like can we do that together? And then they were like, oh, like we actually have this internship for this magazine. Would you like to apply for it? So I applied for it, I got it, and the rest is pretty much history. Yeah.
Wow. That's super cool.
Yeah. Very grateful.
Yeah. So our next segment is community questions.
Mhm.
What it is we upload a story on our social media handles with
Huh?
guest profile
Mhm.
and guest bio and ask people if they have any questions that I could ask the guest.
Oh, okay. I like
Right.
this.
So it is directly from the people. So I'm just a middleman.
Okay.
So if any question offends you, that's not me.
That's so good.
Okay. So this is one of the common questions that people ask. So I'm gonna ask you this one first.
Mhm.
How do I begin expressing myself authentically when I'm afraid of rejection or judgment?
I so understand that. Like, I think before you putting yourself out online, because I understand like how like I have this thing called like rejection sensitivity disorder, and like a lot of neurodivergent people tend to have this, where it's like this idea of like, well, not even idea, like when you get rejected it is physically painful. And a lot
Right.
of neurodivergent people tend to have this because, you know, like we've gone our entire lives like hearing so much like negative feedback about us that our self-worth like is lower than neurotypical people. Because I think I heard something about like by the time you're 10, you've heard over like this is not an accurate like number, but it's something wild like 25,000 more negative comments by the time you're 10 than neurotypical kids. So I would say like in order to like express yourself like authentically, you need to figure out what actually brings you joy. So aside, because I think it's a process. Because like for me, it was a process because I used to be so scared to put myself online. Like I just wouldn't do it because I just kept being like, this is cringe, you know, and like no one's going to care or just like all this like negative like self-belief, you know. And the
Mm.
first thing I did was like, okay, if I want to be like authentic online, I need to be authentic to myself. So who am I? What do I like? What do I enjoy? What are my needs? How do I get my needs met? And this whole process that took a minimum 4 years for me to understand. And it's
Mm.
going to be a lifelong journey, you know. I think truly understanding yourself is a lifelong journey because you're constantly changing and you're constantly evolving. So showing yourself a lot of like self-compassion is actually really important for that. And then in terms of putting that then online, you just have to radically accept that sometimes you are going to get rejected and it's not going to be at the end of the world. It's going to hurt. It is, but you're braver than that hurt. And actually, if you sit with that hurt, you can then unpick the parts of you where that hurt kind of stems from.
Mm.
And I think it's in that, it's like in that shadow work, like it's in a lot of the work that you don't see behind the scenes of a lot of these people who are like camera facing people. Behind a lot of these people is so much inner healing work that's actually gone on before they've got to this point. Um, but even in saying that, I think do the thing scared anyway. You know, there's so many things that I'm, you know, like I'm doing and I'm like, I'm terrified to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because if I don't do it, I'll just never do anything, you know? So yeah, I think it's a process, but I think in this whole process, like you just have to show yourself a lot of self-love, a lot of self-compassion, and just a reminder that like if people do reject you, it's not a rejection, it's a redirection because the more authentic you are, the more authentic connections, opportunities, people, situations you're going to be in because you're being true to yourself. And I always like to think that the universe rewards you for that.
Wow. That was wonderful. Hope all of them got the answer.
Yes.
So, nice. Next question is, oh wow, she looks like a fan of yours. Hey Rachel, I love your content.
Oh, yay. Thanks.
Uh but how do I find my voice when the world tells me I don't belong?
Mm. Oh, yeah, that is heavy. I'm really sorry that you feel that way because also like, I think it's the reality of, I mean, I don't know who, you know, I can't see who this is like asking the question and stuff, but I think, I'm assuming, is it like a woman or like an AFAB person
It's a
asking this question?
woman.
It's a woman, yeah.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of women or people who were born or raised as women, it is so it is so frustrating that we've spent our entire lives being told that we are small and being told to be small. And actually, I think the sad thing about this is that it's not just in your head that your voice gets, you know, like told that it's not can you repeat the question
Yeah.
again? I just want to make sure I'm saying
Let,
what
let me repeat the last part where
yeah.
she asked. She said, how do I find my voice when the world tells me I don't belong?"
Okay, yeah. I think that's a good point because so many women constantly get told that they don't belong, that if they speak up against anything, you know, like, who are you to say that? And I think, especially in a time of like rampant misogyny being really, like, I don't know, like, really prevalent at the minute, like, it's scary to be a vocal person, especially a vocal woman. Um, but I think the main things are like, one, surround yourself with people that you actually do feel heard by. Because I think if you're not feeling heard in your immediate circles, whether that's friends, family, loved ones, colleagues and stuff, not like, and I'm not saying like, like don't be friends with these people or anything, but find people who really believe in you and really care about you and really support you, because it's going to be those connections that nourish you. Because I think self-belief is really important, and like so much of that is really, like it is really important to have the self-belief, but I feel like self-belief can only take you so far. I feel like you also need to have like real world evidence of you being heard and seen and it not feeling unsafe. Because I think this like feeling in our body of like being too scared to speak out, it's not just like a psychological thing. It's like our nervous systems don't feel safe speaking out because we have been shown multiple times that it hasn't been, whether that's been you've been dismissed, someone has told you that your voice doesn't matter, or from it could be from a plethora of things. But I think you need real world evidence of your voice and your opinion mattering. So I'd say, yeah, like find those people. It could even be like community, it could be like community spaces where people get together and discuss things. But I think just like one small degree of change, just like put yourself outside of your comfort zone a tiny little bit each time, because to do something huge, or, like to go sit down and record yourself when you're already scared to like tell your friends, like if they've done something to upset you, you know,
Right.
start practice really small. Because if you like rush into it and like you do something that like actually like you don't, your body doesn't feel safe doing, you're going to shock yourself a bit, and then that shame's going to fill up, and then it's going to lead to inaction. So yeah, I think just one tiny bit of degree of change at a time where you're using your voice and it's getting heard and respected. And again, a lot of self-compassion, a lot of self-love, be really kind to yourself, because it's really hard to like overcome that.
Beautiful. Our next question. Is it possible to succeed in media and fashion while staying true to identity and values?
Depends on what your idea of success is. Um, I am yet to have a full opinion on this, because I think my idea of success now compared to 5 years ago is very different. And also it depends on what your own morals and ethics are as well, because who are you comparing it against, what are the companies that you deem moral and ethical? What are the companies that you deem unmoral and unethical? For me, with my morals and my ethics, the answer would probably be no, because I understand the way that the fashion industry specifically runs, and it is not attainable to be in this space, and be actually making, in my opinion, and actually be making like a livelihood that supports everything without compromising. And this is why I like the majority of my income doesn't come from fashion. Like, because if it was to, like, it would be meaning that I'm partnering with people or brands or, corporations that I don't agree with. And like, I don't want that to be where my money comes from. So like I have like digital marketing, what do you call it? Like I'm a freelancer, like outside of like my social media job, and that's what actually makes most of my income. Because I understand the way that the fashion industry works, and the fashion industry, and the media industry actually, like there's a lot of corruption, not only like morally and like ethically, but also like how you actually get how you get treated, I should say. Like it's a really difficult industry to navigate, especially if you're a newcomer, because there is so much expectation to work for free that people just cannot do. Like people just cannot, do that. So yeah, I feel like it depends on what your morals and ethics are, but Yeah, they're very, I mean, even for me, I'm finding it very difficult to navigate these industries. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Our next question. When visibility seems scary or overwhelming, what keeps you going?
Oh, my friends, my community, like anytime I get loads of like hate comments or like weird people in my DMs threatening me with things, I like to lean on my friends, but also like with my friends, we go out into nature because nature will always ground me because social media, like when you're touching grass, social media doesn't feel real. You know, when you're in a water, when you're in a natural spring, when you're like looking at a waterfall, social media, it's just up here. It's like in the clouds. It's like it doesn't even exist. So when visibility is scary, because it is sometimes, you know, and again, like I'm like a white person, like I have so much privilege in the fact that I'm white, I'm cis, I'm yeah, like I have like a lot of privilege. So like for me, visibility being scary is going to be such a different experience to like someone else, you know? So for me, it's I know that my visibility doesn't necessarily cause me harm in person because I think, are they talking about in-person visibility or online visibility, I guess?
Uh, she doesn't specify, but I believe like I feel like it's online.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
In that case, I'd say, yeah, when visibility feels scary, I go touch some grass. I get off my phone. I surround myself with people who make me who remind me that it's good to be alive and that I'm safe with them no matter what happens on the internet because I can literally just put my phone down and walk away from it and it just feels not real for those few hours that I'm away from it.
Mm, That's such an important thing.
Yeah.
It's all a cloud.
It's just up here. It's
It's not
just,
a real thing.
yeah, do you know what I mean? It's pixels on a screen. That's what it is.
Wow. So, the last questions from community questions
Mhm.
is, okay, yeah, this is about your personal experience. Rachel, what was the first interview experience like for you?
Terrifying. My first ever interview experience was I was at this festival called Flesh. And it was okay, so my first ever job was with the magazine that I had the internship for. They asked me if I would go do some video interviews at this festival. And it was a very DIY festival. It was the first ever festival that these people had ever run, bless them. And it was called Flesh. And it was like, I think it was like the first ever queer camping music festival. So it was a queer festival organized by all queer people, all queer musicians, like food vendors, clothes vendors, all this stuff. And it was also meant to be camping. Well, it was camping. I hate camping. One thing about me, I'm not a camper. I don't want to be cold,
Oh,
wet, shivering on a floor. And the bulk of the interviews were done the day after camping.
okay.
So it was like also like a public facing, like what do you call it? It was like a vox pop interview. So like I was going up to random people, like asking them about the festival. And everyone I asked if they were enjoying themselves at the festival said no. But it was my job to make it look like the festival was this like amazing thing and everyone was having a really good time. So it was quite a challenge because
Oh,
I had
wow.
to kind of like redirect the interview. And again, like I'd never done an interview like this before. Like I'd never prepared, like I didn't know what I was doing really. But I just kind of like fought on my feet. I was just like, okay, this is not this is not going the way that I expected it to go. So how do we change this so like the interviews are a bit at least interesting or like if we're not directly talking about the festival, like how can we, you know,
Make
Makeup
it
looked
look
like
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to think on my feet a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Think fast.
Yes.
Wow. So, yeah, that's about it for our community segment.
Like, thank you, community.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. So I feel like this is we're going towards the ending of this episode, but before we go, Rachel, I wanted to ask for the new people who wanted to start a career or wanted to do interviews for fun.
Mm-hmm.
What are the tips and tricks you want to give it to them?
Just do it. I
Let me
think,
also take my notes.
yeah. I think one,
I
just do it.
needed to.
Yeah. Just do it. I think so much of the
Okay.
time, like, we hold ourselves back from doing anything because we think we don't have the experience, or we don't think we have the qualifications or, expertise. But actually, like, you do that from just doing it anyway, and
Right.
do it scared. Because again, you're going to feel unprepared. You're going to feel like, I'm not ready for this. And you're
I
probably
do.
right. Yeah, but you're going to
Yeah.
learn so much from it, aren't you? Because if you don't start, then you're going to be even further behind than eventually you do start. So you may as well start now so that you can start gathering that experience. And I'd also say interview people that you're actually interested in. Like, if there's anyone you're really nosy about and they're like, well, how do they do that? Or like, what are they about? Like, what do I want to know about this person?
Yeah.
Into that. Like, I think honor your curiosity, because eventually that's going to take you to places that you're going to be interested in, because you're just following this path of hyperfixations essentially. So yeah, just my advice is just do it.
Nice. I check box act.
Yeah.
I started.
I think you can tick that one off. I think
Yeah.
it's doing really well.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you very much again, Rachel, for joining us here on the ZÁY SHEEN Webisode.
Thank you for
Where,
having me.
of course, it is a pleasure. Where people can find you.
People can find me on Instagram and TikTok at rach.e.lle.
Awesome. Yes. The profile link and any other resources that Rachel might share, you can find it into the description. And yeah, please go check out and see Rachel's work. It's very empowering,
Thank
right?
you.
I get inspired too. And I mean, after spending more than about 1.5 hours with you, I feel so energetic.
Oh, I'm so glad. It's probably the ADHD. It's like radiating towards you.
That's
Which I'm
right.
glad.
Right.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor.
Of course. Before you go, there are two
Mhm.
things more.
Yeah.
First, I just wanted to ask any message you wanna
Any
give
message?
away.
Hmm. Hmm. Any message? I'm waiting for my thoughts to download.
Take your time.
Yeah, I guess my message would be just be very self-compassionate towards yourself, because we're living in a time of political unrest. And, the more that you rest, the more that you really look after yourself, the more ready you will be to actually, show up and have that 1 degree of change. So, yeah, I think you can start small by looking after yourself, resting, and finding out what 1 degree of change or what one step of change you can make to create more of like an impact towards making things a better place.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you very much. And the last thing, Rachel, how many languages can you speak?
2. Well, I can speak English, and then I'm learning British Sign Language.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
So, what we have started here, so you will
Mhm.
be the third guest. By the way, one fun fact, you're the second guest from UK in this series. Yeah, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so you gonna say something in your language, the sign
Uh-huh.
language, or you're gonna speak out, and people would tell me in the comment, what did you said?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you don't
Okay.
have to tell me what you said.
Okay.
Okay.
This might not be the right. If anyone signs BSL, I'm sorry if I get. Well, no, because then I've just gave it away. Can you cut that bit out? Because I like want to apologize in case I get the grammar wrong, because I actually don't know.
Okay, I mean, okay, I'll try to cut it.
Okay, this
Yeah.
is that's the thing.
That's
I
it.
can't. Yeah.
Say something good about the host, so I can be more inspired.
I'm really beginner. Um, I don't even know what the sign for host is.
What is the sound for good? This?
Yeah,
Oh, I
literally.
mean, you
Okay.
just give it away what it is.
Yeah, it's really hard. Sorry,
I feel like it's fine. But yeah, the first one works, and yeah, let me know what does she said.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much again for joining us here on the ZÁY SHEEN Webisodes, and I'll see you guys with the next one. Bye bye.